So we are nearly finished with our project of reusing an old canvas, and I am excited to finish it in oil paints today. We started first with the old base. Remember, if you remember from the first one, it was the acrylic that was like a failure. I whitewashed it, everything, and then we started with the oil pastels. And finally, we are ready to finish off the houses and the trees. So let's get started. Have a look at Miss Floof over here, passed out. Maybe it's the fumes from the oil paints. So let me share my screen. Here we go. I hope that you would grab something to paint or to draw with and join me. There we go, we are online. Okay, so now let's get started. So first, let me just have a look here. First, what I have got on my palette here, my palette, if you can see down here, okay, this palette here is a piece of white paper under a clear glass. So now this is not just a normal plane of glass, this is a safety glass, so it's a little bit thicker, so it is safer. The very thin glass is very, very fragile and you can easily break it, and that's a hazard. So this is what I paint on with the oils. It is just easier to wipe it and start again and to clean it off. Okay, so what I have here on my palette today, I have got, I'll start here. This is Prussian blue, and then I have got two colors green here. I have got, this is the sap green, that is more like a yellowy green, and then this one here, Terra Verde, it's a slightly darker green. Okay, and over here I have got two burnt umber and yellow ochre. Over here I have got just a droplet of, I don't think you can see it clearly from where you are sitting. Let's see if we can just show that to you. Okay, let's just back the camera up a bit. There we go. Okay. So now what I have got over here, this puddle, is just a little bit of the linseed oil, and over here and over here is Galkyd or Artist Medium. It's just a drying agent that helps it to dry a little bit faster. And then in this little plastic container I've just got some white Artist Spirits, just to thin it a little bit if I need to have it a slightly thinner consistency. Okay, all right, so now let's get started. So what I want to do here is I want to finish off the little houses over here, and I also want to put in my trees. So I am going to start with the trees. All right, I'm first just going to place the stems. I'm just going to take a bit of Galkyd and a bit of linseed oil just to get it a little bit runnier. Let's see here. Okay. So now let's have a look. I'm just going to use a slightly thinner brush for this one here. I'm using, let's see, this is a flat 2, and this is from Prime Art. Okay, so this is the one that I'm using. All right, so I'm just going to see where I want to have some trees. So let's see, I'm just going to maybe just get that a dash. Okay. All right. So I have got a little house here. So I feel every house should have a little bit of shade. So I'm going to place this tree just next to it. Let's just see. Okay, I think I have got too much medium and too little paint on my brush. Let's have a look and see. There we go. Okay. So I've got that stem. That's a fairly large, thick stem, a chunky tree. Okay. So here we have got a little house also, and this is the house that maybe has the cabbage patch next to it. So let's put this tree over here at the back. I'll put it over here. I'm going to use a little bit of my blue in it as well, just so that we can have a slightly darker color. Let's add some blue here. Okay. All right. Now what you see when I paint is there are very many ways of working when you want to stabilize your hand. You can use one of those special sticks where you can rest your hand when you're drawing or painting, but because it is just something tiny, I use my little finger as a support. So now obviously when you do that, make sure that where you place your finger is not wet and that you're not going to smear something, because sometimes that happens and it's like, oh, no. Okay, so let's see. So I will put my finger here, and then I can have nice control over my brush. Now this is also a very short brush. You can use the long brushes. You can actually use whatever you want. There are no right and wrong. What makes you happy is what you work with. Okay, so now let's see. Okay, and I think I want to give it another tree, maybe down here, and it needs a sun over there, so maybe let's put an extra tree over here. Okay. Now where else can we put some trees? So here in the little village, maybe the little houses can have some trees here on the hill. There's a small tree. Let's see over here. Maybe there's a tree. Okay, this house here can have a larger tree. And I'm just going for that's a tree that looks like a cypress looking tree, not one that has got a very big crown, just like that pencil arrow looking trees. Okay, so let's see here. Where else can I place one? I think we can place one over here. And then this house here can have a tree also. Now as I come closer and closer, because these houses are larger, the smaller houses are more away in the distance, I'm getting closer, so it would be bigger. Okay, so this one here, I'll just use my finger just to take that out, because I had my brush on the wrong angle and that was a very wide stem there, so I don't want it that wide. Okay, so over here in the center of town, maybe we will have the top of a tree stick out there, and then maybe here also. Just want to keep this one a little bit more color, opaqueness. Okay, and then I think here in the valley here, you can maybe put 3 trees here. A little bit more. Okay, so we have got trees. Got a tree here. Maybe we need, let's see, do we need a small tree here? No, I'm not going to add a small tree. We can maybe add a tree in a pot or something later. Let's see, I think I want to have a row of trees on the horizon line also. So let's do a row of trees over here, so that it looks as if it is a forest, or the start maybe of a forest. Just small ones over there, and we can add, let's see, maybe down this hill. This hill has only got one very sad looking lonely tree, so we'll add another one there. Okay. All right. Okay, that's good. So now let's have a look. So what I have got here, when I work with the oils, oh dear, we froze. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry, I did not pay attention to my iPad. Let me just stop share quickly. Okay, sorry about that. Let's see, come on. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, so now as I was saying, I hope you could see. So let's just go over. I've got the tree stumps here, over here on that hill, over here coming down. There's one with this all over, and then up here. So when I use oils to clean my brushes, I usually just have a toilet paper or paper towel with me, just to give it the initial rub, so that it just creates less mess later. Okay, so now let's have a look here. Okay, good. Now I am going to look at my greens. Now, as I've mentioned before, sometimes when you add white to your green, it can make it look like mint. So if I want to lighten it up a little bit, I would rather use a little bit of yellow ochre, because I don't want to have minty colored trees. Okay, so let's see first what these colors look like on the canvas. Okay, I just want to clean my palette knife before I forget and it gets rock hard. There we go. Okay, so now let's see. Okay, I'm going to use a bit of the yellow ochre. It's not really giving me the color that I want, but I can work with it. Let's have a look. Okay. And let's see what it would look like if we add this green. I think this combination is going to be great. Okay, alrighty. Okay, so now let's have a look and see if I want to use my palette knife or if I would rather continue with the brush. Okay. Let's see, let's start with this tree over here. Now, you know what, I think the angle that I'm sitting is a little bit difficult, so I'm going to use my brush. I'm just going to take, this is also a prime art, and this is also a number 2. So I'm just going to use this number 2 to paint the tree. Please let me know in the comments where you are watching from. I would love to know. And what is your favorite art medium? Do you like watercolor, oils, drawing, silk screening? What do you like? Or what is your go-to? Usually the one that you would choose. If someone said to you, let's go and do some art, what would you do? Watercolor, or oil, or acrylic? I also like to do pottery and sculpture, so that is also so much fun. So yes, all art forms are amazing. Okay, so here we can see the trees are shaping. Okay, I just want to grab some more of the drying agent here. Let's get this long, skinny tree. What is nice about the background that we have, when your paints are a little bit on the translucent side, or if you paint it on a little bit thin for the first layer, then it is very nice because you can still get some of the background color shining through. So that is very nice. Okay, let's go here. Let's put it in this one tree over here. And sometimes your brush gets muddy, especially with oil paints. Then I usually just scrape it down and just pick up the paint again. I'm not sure where you are from in the world, but here in South Africa, in Cape Town, we are having a bit of a heat wave again today. So it's hot, so my oils are hot and they're runny also. So yes, we'll get there. And you can see that I'm not really using a lot of detail on these at the moment because I might go in with an extra layer once it's dry, just to make sure I'm happy with it, or depends on how fast it dries now. Maybe I can just go in with a different color just to show the sun is setting, so I will probably, the tops of the trees will probably have a little bit more of a yellow color, just because the sunlight is coming like this. These trees over here, the sun will catch them on this side over here. That's a very good thing to always think, where's your source of light coming from? Is it coming from this side? Is it coming from that side? So we can't have the trees over here, can't have this side, the light side, because the light is not coming from here. The light is here. So where will this light be? Just here at the top. It's just going to hit the top of it over there. But like this tree here would have some on the side here because it's still in the direct line of the sun or the light source. So we always have to think, where's our light coming from? And these trees are not perfect. They are just little tiny blobs. But you know what? Like I always say, it's the journey. It's not always about the end product. Obviously, when it is for a commission or for a gallery or a piece that you want to really show somewhere, then you would spend a lot of time on it, refining, and then this stage here would not be the final stage. But this, for us, this is our final stage today on this one, because it's not going to a gallery or anything. This is just to be used as instruction. Okay, so now let's see here. Okay, I have a tall tree over here. You can see where I'm placing my little finger to anchor. That just gives me so much more control over my brush. Okay, now this tree here has got a fairly large stem, so it's a fairly large tree, so it's going to be closer to us, so it's basically going to go over the top of this house here, because that little house is then behind this tree. And of course you can change your brush size. I find sometimes that I just use 1 or 2 sizes, or sometimes I have had paintings where I've only used 1 brush, because sometimes you get so used to that brush and you like that, the feel of that brush. I don't know how to explain. It's like if you have a favorite mug. I have a favorite brush. So this is not it. My favorite brush is a watercolor brush. It's very nice. Okay, so this is just a brush. All right, so this one here, let's make it also a chunky tree on this side. And again here, You can see the translucency on this one, so it is sort of showing some of the pink behind it, and we will go over that one again with some more color. I'm just going to give it a minute just to settle with the oil. Okay, so now here, this is a nice place if you can anchor your hand on the side of the canvas. Here you can see I have got a dip. So my trees will not all be the same length, and I've also made my stems slightly different. Okay, so this one here would remain the smallest. So and because it's the smallest tree here, it has got very little light still from the sun. But you can see how the yellow background is giving it its beautiful highlights already. Okay. So you may think, I wonder what the next project would be. The next project is working on Hope. Hope is over there, and I can't wait to finish Hope. Hope is also a mixed or she started off in acrylic, and fantastic play with the background and ink and everything. Was just really very, very nice, and it's basically just to finish it off in oil. It's basically finished. I'm sure you've seen it every time in the background. Maybe you've wondered, I want to see that one. Okay, so yes, that's the next one after this series, because this one will be the final, what you can do with an old canvas. Okay, did I get them all? Let's see. Okay, so now I see there are one or two. It needs just an extra little layer. Let's just give them a little bit extra. Okay, this one over here. You would also look where your houses are, because sometimes the shadow of the roof might be in the way of your light source. Then you would have a darker place, a darker side of your tree. Okay, so it all depends on the light source. Just going to go over these ones here. I'm going to leave that top part because the sun is still. You can see here how I'm doing these. I'm not touching the top again because it has got some of the sunlight going there. Okay. Oh, I'm happy with my trees. Look at them. Okay, this one is basically in the shadow. There we go. Let's see this one here. Okay, let's just clean the brush a little bit, get all the mud off. Okay, all right. So let's see, this one here needs a little bit of help. I'm also just focusing on the area pointing directly towards us because it will have a little bit of a sunspot on the top. Same with this one here. And we do get different varieties of these types of trees, and let's face it, I haven't seen trees like this in nature, so it's my trees, okay? So it's my trees, that's all I can say. It's based on the other types of trees, but yes, you can see what I mean. But it's just painting. I'm not illustrating a fauna and flora book or anything here. It does not have to be perfect. It's my interpretation of a tree. So that's why I have the freedom to express myself just how I want. All right, okay. So I think now I am done with the darker greens. If I need to add more dark green, I can come back to it later. It's just like this one. And the difference between oil and watercolor is that the watercolor, oil and acrylic, the acrylic you can just plonk into a dish with water, the brushes when you're finished, with a little bit of dish soap just to get it off. Very important, it cannot lie. You can't do what I've done here with these brushes and put it down. Otherwise your brushes would be ruined with acrylic because it dries very fast, and so it needs to go into water straight away to clean, or into a brush cleaner. But I like just soapy water, and usually, sorry, let me just grab this here. Usually I just have a jam jar, and then I would just put a drop of dish soap in with a bit of water, and I can just plonk it in there. All right. Okay, so now I am looking to add a few highlights. So I have got my yellow ochre over here. Let's move it to a different place. Okay, let's move it over here. And I think I am going to add a little bit more yellow to it. I think I'm going to add a little bit of Naples yellow, which is a very, very pale yellow. And let's see what other yellow I have here. This yellow is very difficult to pronounce. It's Arylamide. Okay, I don't know if that pronunciation is correct. So yes, that's a little bit of a brighter yellow, and you can't see it. Okay, I will move the iPad so that you can just see it. You can see there right at the bottom. Let's just move it over. Okay. Okay, all right. So this is the yellow ochre, Naples yellow, and the difficult yellow that I'm not sure how to pronounce. Okay, so now I'm going to use a smaller brush because I want to just add the sunshine on it. Okay, so let's first of all grab some Galgut. Okay, I'm just going to put some Galgut over here. I'm going to just mix in a bit of the yellow and Naples yellow. Okay, so now for the bright yellow highlights, I'm just going to put it here on the trees. You can see I'm just basically dabbing it onto it, because now the leaves are not all even and in the same place. Can you see? The light source is there, it's catching it there. It's got a little bit of shadow from this tree here, so maybe we can take this light source here down a little bit more. These two are more in the shadow of their friends next to them. Okay, I will bring you up closer in a few minutes just to show you. All right, and then let's have a look over here. We want to bring in some of the yellow at the tops of the trees. Okay, I'm just playing with a mixture of the three. I always try and mix a little bit of the color in that you're working also. There was a little bit of green in the Galgut also, so just helps to tie the colors together. Okay, so this one here, the top of this tree, you can see it's still getting sun from the top. That one over there. Okay, let's have a look. This one here will have a little bit more of the sunshine on it, because it's coming down a little bit longer on the side. It's in direct light of the sun. So it has got the little, let me just get that off the brush. Let's see, I need a little bit more clear color here. Let's see, here we go. A little bit of Naples yellow, add it in here. Okay, this one here just has a touch. That side, that one just has a touch of yellow. This one also, just a little bit of yellow on this side. All the shadows are on that side. Okay, let's just make sure that the string stays activated. Okay, let's have a look. Now we're looking at this one over here. I want to bring in a little bit of the sunlight over there. This one is going to have it on this side. So I hope you understand what I mean if I say the side that the sun would hit it naturally. And just again, just dabbing it a little bit. I'm not putting in strokes here, I'm just dabbing the brush Just dab that one a little bit more. Okay. Wow, can you see the difference? So now we can see that the trees are coming alive. I like it. Okay. And we're nearly finished with the trees, and then we are going to work on the houses. And you know what I think I will do is I'm going to show you one house, and then I will leave it to dry, and then I will maybe just pop on with a short video as an overview just to show you the finished product. Okay, because I think we are going to go into a very, very long video if I have to continue here with all the houses. But I think I will work maybe on this house here that's closest so that you can see my method and what I'm doing, and then fill in the others because our time is catching us again. I don't know why the time always goes so fast when you are having fun. And of course, if this was acrylic paint, then it would be much faster. I don't really have to wait for anything to dry, but on the trees here, there are some spots that needs to be a little bit drier before I can add the highlights where the sun is catching. Okay, just see that one there. All right, okay. So I think the trees are okay for now. Let me take you up closer and then I can show you. Okay, so you can see the trees. They are not perfect. They are far from it, but they look very nice. I like the texture that I have on them. Let's see. Are you safe? Yeah, okay. And I think that looks great for now. All right, so let's see. What I want to do with this house here is I want to just liven up the roof. Okay, so I'm going to take some of this brown that we've mixed for the stem, just a dash of that, and I'm going to take a dash of the Naples yellow on my palette knife. Can you see here? Okay, so I'm basically just going to place it here and just see where I want it. Okay, hold on, I will have to use my other hand. The brown was on the other hand, on the other angle. Okay, so let's see. Let me load it from the correct angle. Oh, don't put your finger in the tree. That was very close. I nearly had my pinky in the tree. I have to stretch my... Okay. So this is more like a rustic vibe that we are giving the roof, and now I'm just going to dry brush it a little bit. Just here and there, just to liven it up a bit. Not everywhere. See that the Naples willow has taken over totally, so I will change that a little bit. Okay, I don't like all of that yellow on the roof, so trusty toilet paper, it's well, I can take it off. See what happens when you make a boo-boo or a wrong choice of color? You just swipe it away. That's it. Okay, let's get some more of this. I think I want like a little bit more of a reddy color here also. So let me just see here, what is this color here? I'm going to take a little bit of the alizarin crimson. Just want to see. Yes, I think that's going to pop my roof for me. Okay, so let's grab some of this. Okay, good. And then a little bit of the brown. And touch the navel so I don't want it everywhere. Just here and there as a highlight. Okay, oops, very close to those trees. Let's see if we can pull this off. I like this better. Okay, so the vibe I'm going for here is old and rustic. So let's see, let's grab, where's my other brush I just had? Okay, now usually under the roof there will be shadows and shading over here, so let's add some. I'm going to make a mixture of the burnt umber and a little bit of the cerulean blue, just to give it a mixture. I'm sitting at a very strange angle here, so I have to just see if I can get this in here. Okay, so here we can see I've got the shadow in there. Okay, so I'm going to use this as an indication also at the bottom, where the house is in the bottom, where it's sitting on the page. I'm just going to add some of that shadow there. And now with a slightly drier brush, I'm just going to brush it. I just want to make sure this does not go off. Okay, I'm just going to give it a little bit of extra texture over here. I want to, let's give it a reddish door. The door, and then let's have a look and see. Where's my thin brush? Okay, I'm going to just add some. Okay, that's a little bit too wet, so I'll wait a little bit for that to add the shadow on the door. So I'm just going to indicate where the shadows are for the windows. Let's see if we can maybe paste this in a bit. Thing is with the oil paint, if you have a layer and it's too wet and you put another layer on it, you can actually just lift off your previous layer. So that is why it has to sometimes just wait a day or so that you can actually paint it without lifting it off. Look at that. It's popping off the canvas. It's looking fantastic, I think. I'm going to add a little touch of white just to give it... Oh, that's not the white, that's the green. Oh, goodness, Ingrid, I nearly had some sap green walls. Sometimes they all look the same. I don't always read the labels. I just grab where I think I've left them. Okay, so now let's see here. I want a drier brush. This is a dry brush, and I'm just going to use the white. I'm just going to load up my, take it off on the brush a little bit on the cloth, and then I'm just going to add a bit of white. So it gives us this like a rustic villa look. Okay. All right, so I hope that you enjoyed following along, and I promise I will finish it and then I will show you the final product. I will come up, and then, you know what we can discuss maybe is, why are we afraid of criticism? Do you think that could be an interesting topic? Okay, so let's make a deal. Let me finish this, let it dry and finish completely, and then I will pop back on, show you what it looks like, and then we can just have a face-to-face and discuss criticism and why sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, and sometimes we should just ignore it. Okay. It was amazing to have you here in the studio where even dreams believe. And I'm happy to see that Floof is still asleep. Well done, Floof. All right. So yes, here you can see. Let me see if I can bring it closer. You can see here the house. Okay, you can see the trees where the sun was catching. Okay. All right, everyone. I will see you soon. Bye.